Republican prospects in the midterm elections coming up this year are looking very bright. After a while, they looked not bright. We lost 4 elections in a row in by-elections, but lately the stats are becoming quite good as the impact of the Trump tax cut seems to sink in, and Trump is behaving himself with avoiding crazy tweets. The format that most politicians look at is called the Generic Ballot, which is a question where you ask respondents, if the election were held today, would you be more likely to vote for the Republican or the Democratic candidate in your district, all other things being equal? And that's sometimes an important measurement as to how people are going to vote. And 2 months ago, the Democrats had a 15-point edge. 1 month ago, they had a 7-point edge. And in the polls that came out yesterday, they were 1 point down. There was basically a dead even tie among the parties, a gain of 15 points for the Republicans. By the way, that index has to be pro-Democrat by 3 or 4 points for the Democrats to gain seats. That's because so many of the Democratic voters are in districts that are all Democrat, 100 to nothing, minority districts. And it doesn't make any difference if more people in those districts want to vote Democrat because it's a Democratic seat anyway, and the Republicans have no equivalent districts of their own. But it's not just that. Trump's job approval, which according to the polls that survey registered voters or all adults, had been down in the high 30s, 37, 38, are now in those same polls in the low 40s, 42 and 43. And in the better polls, which survey registered voters, Trump's approval is up to 45. And among the best polling that surveys likely voters, Rasmussen's, Trump is up to 47 and 48. In fact, now for the first time in the Rasmussen polling, the people who disapprove of him are even with the people who approve of him. He's no longer underwater. This is really an unmistakably positive trend. And it's buoyed by the economy. A survey of attitudes of small business owners found more optimism than there has been since 1986, and in certain other measurements more than since 1973. 42% of small businesses said now would be a good time to expand, and those numbers have been swelling all throughout the year with a big jump as the tax cut begins to kick in. And those fears about the deficit growing to a horrible extreme, well, in January, the federal government took in 4% more money than it did a year ago January with no change in the tax rates. That's simply the economically stimulative effect of the Trump tax cut kicking in and reflecting itself in Treasury revenues. That's about a 4% increase. If it gets to be an 8 or a 9% increase, there's no deficit. It completely pays for the impact of the tax cut. So this is looking pretty damn good right now. Thanks for watching.